Hey there everyone, Lord Frigid here with the first part of a two-part set of AR mock battles. Today is going to be a little bit different in that I'm actually going to be using the Change Seasons feature to jump ahead to the next Astra season and showcase some of these changes that they made to Aether Raids with the most recent version update. There are a few big changes here, and I guess I'll go over them pretty quickly just to start things off. First and foremost is that they made it so that the base score for every raiding party is just bumped up by 20 points. And that one's pretty straightforward, just you get more points when you win, huzzah. Change number 2 that they're making is actually, it's more of a change to Mythic Heroes than a change to Aether Raids. Every Mythic Hero going forward is going to have a secondary effect that allows you to open up a 6th team slot on your raiding parties. So that is pretty interesting, allowing for 6-unit raiding parties. And also interesting is that the 6th unit does not affect your raiding party maximum lift. So you can very easily slot in another Mythic Hero for stat bonuses, and it won't be any better or worse than putting in just a blessed hero that matches that season. So that is also another interesting thing. It opens up options for all types of teams actually. Tank teams might benefit from that extra slot for another mythic. A rushdown team might benefit from a slot for another Gale Forcer. So stuff like that. And we'll get into more of the intricacies of what that 6th slot being opened up means later. The other thing that they changed is that every season, a offense and defense mythic hero that matches that current season will be in the bonus rotation, and that is actually quite significant. And if you use a bonus mythic hero on offense, well, I mean, there's a similar mechanic on defense, but I won't get into that now. If you use a bonus mythic hero on offense, then you will be able to lose a single unit when you do an Aether Raids battle, and it won't negatively affect your maximum lift if you win. So that plays really nicely in my mind with this 6th slot, especially against high space suppression teams like Cavlines, where maybe with that 6th slot, putting a hero there, they're like, great, cool, but now Cavlines have a fairly guaranteed hit on at least one of your units on turn 1, which may be undesirable. So this is basically saying, okay, fine, you have less space to place your units, or more units than you have space for, rather. But to kind of set against it, we'll let you lose one and it won't negatively affect your score. So that's a pretty interesting trade-off. So actually, with this, let me go ahead and actually switch over to my Astra teams, because one other thing they did was they added a new Astra mythic hero named Regan, as you have all probably discovered, with the addition of Book 5. And she comes with a very strong new ability in Canto, which, unlike Canto from basically every other Fire Emblem game, sorry, got a little tongue-tied there. In the series, at least the ones that I'm familiar with, the Canto in those games, it just allows you to expend whatever movement you have remaining after combat. Here, it just refreshes her movement entirely, which is kind of nuts. So we will get to see that in action, I hope, as we get into today's mock battles. But first, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about building raiding parties with that extra 6th slot. So, like I mentioned, there are a lot of options. There's a lot of versatility that you that you have going here. And one thing you can do, which I mean you can see right here with the Claude raiding party, is allows you to put in another support unit. It's like here, the primary support unit is Brave Lucina. No way does Flame match Brave Lucina's utility for this particular team, especially with Luna Claude. So I mean, this team previously with just 5 units did not have a slot for her, but now with a 6th space open, it does. So I can now run Flame to introduce a mitigation factor for Claude, which he otherwise did not have access to, since he's a flyer, so he can't inherit skills like Close Call, Spurn, or Repel. Moving on, next up is the Merida team. I also used this 6th slot for a support unit in the Merida team. I struggled a little bit with whether I should put Fjorm here or just a second Plumeria. A second Plumeria would help future-proof the team, I guess, because eventually we're going to get new defense mythics, which will allow for a 7th defense team slot, with which perhaps her high speed advantage might be threatened if I don't run second Plumeria. But for now, I decided I'm going to go ahead and run Fjorm. Fjorm benefits very strongly from the new bonus rotation rules, since you can now effectively run triple mythic, and her HP, of course, is the stat that is used to determine whether or not she can isolate her foes. So it's very nice to be able to run her. Again, Brave Lucina is very, very important to the Merida team's strategy, so otherwise I wouldn't have had a slot for Bride Fjorm, which can hurt in many cases, especially with a lot of assist traps. But now I can run her, and actually it's also nice to have a healer, if I'm being honest. Next up, we have the Dragon Wagon. This team actually did go ahead and just slot in a 4th mythic to get that stat advantage, although I guess in this case the 4th mythic is actually Regan herself. So this team is, it's a dragon armors. Their entire thing is that they have beefier stats than the enemy, and you can just kind of walk the dragons in and expect them to walk out alive. Very straightforward there. Next team up is Gale Force. I actually restructured this team a little bit here. I switched out Eliwood for Veloria. I actually did ally support Veloria with Regan, which provides for some interesting interactions, because if Gale Force activates, Kanto actually doesn't. So you can, combined with the Veloria and Quick Impulse here, that brings her Gale Force charge down to 2 at the beginning of turn 1, so she can quite conceivably take out 2 enemies and then just run away, and the enemy's just like, okay, well, now what? And of course, with that 6th team slot, it allows me to use Bride Fjorm here, which is very great because it makes hit and runs a lot easier, because now you can isolate the Refresher and make chase downs even harder. Finally, the Brunia team slot, I decided to just go for Mythic on this team slot. She is, I think she's probably fine without another support unit. I guess technically Plumeria kind of is a support unit. But another one besides something with out of combat utility, out of combat utility like Fjorm, or the mitigation like Flame. Although maybe she could benefit from Flame, but I liked getting those extra 5 points of HP and those extra 4 points of speed. So those are my new teams. Let's go ahead and jump over to the mock battle. I guess the mock battle menu, the friends list in Aether Raids, and we'll get into some of the volunteers who were so kind to volunteer their maps for a little bit of testing here. The first volunteer is actually a new face on the mock battle scene. We have Blazer's map. Let's go ahead and take a look at this setup. Yes, he did mention that it is an infantry pulse team, and it certainly looks like one. We've got Thrasier with Life and Death, Killing Intent, Panic Smoke, Flashing Blade, E-Finger, No Assist, and Blazing Light. Eleonora with Attack Speed Push, Poison Strike, Infantry Pulse, Quick Impulse, Mirage Longbow, No Assist, and Dragon Fang. Elincia with Attack Speed Push, Wings of Mercy, Infantry Pulse, I believe that is HP Speed. Yes. Cloud Myogi, Dance and Moonbow. Dimitri with Attack Death Unity, Blue Lion Rule, Infantry Pulse, I believe that is HP Attack, Moon Gradivis, Swap, and Bonfire. Kyria with Death Blow, Low Attack Res, Drive Attack, Mirror Strike, Mirage Rod, No Assist, and Dragon Fang. And finally, Alphonse with Close Counter, Special Spiral, Infantry Pulse, Hardy Bearing, Imbued Coma, No Assist, and Open the Future. Okay, so... In previous iterations of AR mock battles, or Aether Raids in general, the best strategy for me, I believe, would have been to use Brunia to try and hit probably the Dimitri, and get the Pulse Smoke off on all of the other foes, so they don't have their specials anymore. But now, actually, with the new 6-unit teams, and particularly Claude Raiding Party setup, one of the big reasons I chose Flame for support on this Claude Raiding Party setup is to help him. I think it could potentially allow him to deal with some infantry pulse setups. And I think I'd like to test that here. It kind of depends on whether or not it can deal with that Dimitri. We'll have to see. As far as using Regan, I may be able to get something going. In fact, I'd probably prefer to take out that Blazing Light Brassiere just so she doesn't AoE my units. There's a paired defense tile, so that's nice. But it would be great to eliminate the Blazing Light entirely rather than just reduce the damage from it. So that could be accomplished by hitting her with Regan and just running away with Kanto and then repositioning her out or something to that effect. Can I do that? I'd have to break a bunch of this stuff and actually engage by turn 4. Maybe I should just go in and see how things go. I mean, usually I do a bit of a planning phase, a lot lighter than I would do normally for a full-on Aether Raids battle planning phase, but still something. Whereas here, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a look and see what I can do. First thing that comes to mind is I think I can probably actually do a turn 1 break on that Panic Manor by doing this. Because Flane, I can move you again. That's right, I keep forgetting. Flane has Rescue, which has the drawback effect, so I can actually refresh her and then just draw Plumeria back out to safety. I maybe should have checked. Okay, no, he of course he has infantry pulse. No, I was gonna say if he'd had Odd Tempest, that would have been a really awkward. Okay, let's see. How am I going to do this? Because, well, I mean, actually, I really should have at least checked the Claude versus Dimitri matchup because he's got what, 50 defense? 50. That's a lot. That's a significant amount of defense. I mean, he has Luna, but I'm mostly concerned that when you attack, you have 30. He's definitely getting full mitigation off of that. We'll have to see. If I'm putting him here, I could get a bunch of support, but I'd have to maneuver it into place. So I guess I could do, if I can get Regan here.
Why not?
Yes, here. And then reposition her up with Claude, then get Claude a refresh from Plumeria. That actually gets field buffs on him. Unfortunately, the defense penalties are basically reversed by attack def unity, so maybe that's not something I want to do, but we'll see. But then I can also, because then Regan hits you, Kanto's away, and then I can do, probably, I would want to say I want to reposition with Lucina, honestly. Get her out of there, put Lucina in position, because now that's what? That's the full plus 12 attack support right there. And then if I can get Flane in here for that mitigation, and then I can even put Altina here, probably. Because this is Kyria, right? I suspect she would be able to have a Dragon Fang while on a defense tile and supported by Flame. The trick is getting everybody over there. So I'd need Flame here. Flame here or here. Well, actually, not here because Altina needs to be within 2 spaces of this tile. And she can't be here because Lucina needs to reposition. Actually, Lucina needs to be here. So Lucina, Altina, Flame, and all of this within 2 turns. Joy of joys. How am I going to manage this? Can I do break and then
away we go.
How do I want to run this?
Is something afoot?
Can I break this and then break this and then smite her over and use Kanto to get to safety? Or do I want to do something more like this?
Your orders. Away we go.
I could do this, I suppose. But how am I going to break the Amphore? I guess I could smite Claude over to do something like this. Because Regan just needs to be kind of Or she needs to be here. So that's fine. I can do this. And then Lucina, yeah, that should be okay. I just need to get... Yeah, because now Flame has rescue.
What's next?
Yeah, I can do that. That's fine. So, what I do essentially is... I move Altina here. Who gets hit by the... Oh, I kind of want to get rid of that Dark Shrine. But am I doing... I mean, it's already turn 3. I don't know if I have enough time to actually get to that. So maybe I just have to forego it and... she still has 40 res. So I can do this, and then... This? No. This. And then this. And then that. And call that good. Yes, that is correct. We will have to see. What remains to be seen is whether or not Claude can actually deal with the Dimitri. Again, I really should have checked that match before I started, but oh well. So we have take out the Thesir, run away, refresh the Claude, quick check. Oh, he's a lot closer than I thought he was. Hello. Okay, so I can do this. Oh yeah, that's already a KO. Huh, cool. So, question becomes, do I want to put her there, or do I just let Claude do the things? Let's just stick her here. And then I can at least break this, I guess. And we will have to see how the enemies choose to move. Okay, Kyria goes after Altina. Looks like she wouldn't have been able to take that without the defense tile, but that's okay. Although you never really know. Mitigation works, you know, kind of strangely, actually. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and have Regan finish this job here. So that was a pretty interesting map there. I very much wonder what it would look like. Ooh, nope, I went too far. Okay. What it would look like with a 7th unit on this team. That should prove interesting. Anyway, thank you very much for volunteering your map, and let's just go ahead and move on to volunteer number 2. The second volunteer is TK. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the map we have. Yes, this is approximately the same as the previous iteration that I faced in mock battles some time ago. There, I do see that these structures are moved around, and don't worry, I'm not completely blind. Let's see here. So we have Mirabilis with Fort Def Res, Wings of Mercy, Ground Orders, Aerobatics, Flower V's, and Squidry Moonbow. Olivia with our Dual Infantry, Sudden Panic, Infantry Pulse, HP plus 5, Armor Smasher, Dance Blue Flame. Linus with Fury, Spurn, Infantry Pulse, HP Speed, Basilicos, Rally Speed, Res Gale Force. Thesir with Flashing Blade, Killing Intent, Panic Smoke, Quicken Pulse, E-Finger, No Assist Blazing Wind. Soleil with Descent Counter, Def Res Ruse, Infantry Pulse, HP Attack, Slaying Edge, Rally Attack Speed, and Aether. And finally Norn with... gosh, you really don't see this skill very often at all. Steady Impact, thank you Brain, Low Attack Speed, Pulse Smoke, Hardy Bearing, Spendthrift Bow, No Assist, and Ignis. Okay. So, a couple things come to mind. First off is I can actually now stop this rally trap with Bride Fjorm. Might be interesting to just place Marita here, since Marita seems like a fairly solid unit to send against this team, since she is red and the enemies are all not blue. Other options, I'm thinking probably what I would want to do is maybe find, if I do that, I'd want to find some way to get her up here. Then she gets in range of Brave Lucina, which could prove interesting. Another possibility, actually, is trying to go hit and run Gale Force, because Regan should be able to pull that off by attacking Linus. 50 speed. I mean, she's a bonus unit right now. So she'd be at, what, 55, actually, she has 55 right now with just Swift Sparrow and, gosh, I forget how they pronounce this. I'm gonna butcher it, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna say it's Ling Hyther. That was probably so wrong. Okay, whatever. All right, I'm thinking she can do that. Yeah, let's just try that. Let's try this. And if it doesn't work, well, then I'll go fall back to Marita. So this team, again, it has Bride Fjorm to help stop the enemy from chasing down. And then I definitely want to do this. Since Kanto can only activate once a turn, I would want to have somebody take out this Fae statue and then Regan take out the Panic Manor. Then she can Kanto back to this space. Next turn she just walks up, hits Linus, and then... Actually, he definitely lives a hit with that much defense and HP. That kind of bulk should be fine. Then she activates Gale Force. Then who do I take out? Do I take out the Mirabilis? I think I do. Yeah, I think I'll take out the Mirabilis. So let's see. The best way to do that... I want to keep isolation on you. Because once she takes it... Okay, let's try this. So... Is this what I want? I think it is. Because you don't need to be here turn 1. But I can do that and then run away. And that way I can have my 2 Plumerias up here. Tiburon can break this. And then... Again, with the next turn, I can do that. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then take out the Mirabilis. That hits quite hard, but oh well. And then she Kantos away. And then what? Then what? How am I going to get everybody... Because I can refresh you, but then after that... Oh, right. You have Wings of Mercy. Okay, sweet. So I can do that. And then this. And then that, I suppose. Or, I don't know. How do I want to run this? Let me do this, actually. We'll get a reposition out here, and that way I can actually move you and then get you here. Because I'm thinking most of the enemies will want to trend towards the left. Because that's where the Plumerias are. So that's interesting.
Where's the loot?
So, okay, I wonder if I can do... This. Because that is a one-hit KO. That's certainly a one-hit KO. Then I can refresh him.
I'll do it.
And get more stuff going. In fact, if I refresh from here, I wonder. Let's just try it, I guess. So I can do that.
Close your
and
eyes.
I can do this.
Where's the loot?
Okay, that's annoyingly close. I wonder if there's... What can I do about that?
Why not?
If I had refreshed with this Plumeria... Wait, actually, I couldn't have refreshed with this Plumeria because she's too far away. I was gonna say I could have
Over
hit her
here?
up with a smite. Get her in range. As it stands, that's a KO. And then
Need something?
that's a KO, as expected. But Fjorm is not in position to... Fjorm was not, rather, in the position to isolate the Olivia, so that's unfortunate. I wonder if I can do this.
I'll do it. Over here?
She lives that? Seriously? That's kind of nutty, but okay. And she activates Gale Force. So I could maybe do something like
I won't lose.
hit you,
Yeah.
chip you. Oh, that's too much. Because I want to get the Aether structures too, right? So I don't want
Over
to
here?
hit her too hard. Or at
Where's
least
the
so
loot?
hard that Tibarn doesn't 2H KO.
Need
So
something?
that's what... Ugh, this is...
I won't
Whatever I
lose.
try here is going to hit too hard, I think.
That's
And then you... Oh! You don't KO the Olivia. That's nice. So if I were to do something like this,
Aye.
Yeah. Over
how do I do this? I think I do this, and then Kanto you over here,
What do you want?
and then I can do this, and then just move you here. That way, Olivia will go after Valoria, since she can't KO. And I am free to get the Aether structures on the next turn. Oh wow, that's nice. Okay, so now I can do this, move you, I don't know, here, get a
Close your
Plumeria in
eyes.
here, and I suppose I'll just let Valoria finish the job. So that was pretty interesting. Was a really nice way to check out the usability of hit and run Gale Force strategies. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing, and I think I'll actually go ahead and save the remaining 3 volunteers for part 2 tomorrow.